Good morning, greetings, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 32 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you. 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side. Have lines open for you. We'll get your calls at the bottom of the hour. As we always do on The Bright Side, we love hearing from you. The show is much more interesting when we have a dialogue rather than a monologue. 844-236-6010 is our number if you have questions about the longevity products, longevity business, Truth Skin Health products, formulations, ingredients, a success story you'd like to share, or if you just want to comment on whatever we're speaking about here today. 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or call 866-735-2470 for more information. And think about starting a longevity business for a one-time $25 fee. You can be in business for yourself and be in the nutrition business and help change lives. If you've benefited from nutritional supplementation, now you can pay it forward and make a living while you're doing it. Call 866-735-2470 for more info, or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. All right, welcome back to The Bright Side, friends. We've been talking about the periodic table. Love this thing. The alphabet of reality is what I call it. And hardly anybody has any idea about this thing. It's hard, even when you study it, it's hard to totally figure the darn thing out. But you certainly have no business, in my opinion, my humble opinion, you have no business talking to somebody about nutritional chemistry if you don't understand the periodic table. This is one of the reasons why we get so much bad advice, and this is one of the reasons why we're so confused about health and nutrition, is because we don't understand the alphabet of reality, and the alphabet of chemistry, and the alphabet of biochemistry, and the alphabet of nutrition, and the alphabet of nutritional supplementation. So we're trying to it is a little bit confusing. I totally understand that. It's to really understand the periodic table, you got to understand physics and chemistry. How do you like that? That's the two hardest subjects that you could possibly study, with the exception of mathematics, are physics and chemistry, and the periodic table is both physics and chemistry. So understandable. It would be really hard to figure out. So we've been kind of trying to simplify things. We said that there's these things called metals. Metals are racist atoms. Each one of these boxes is an atom. That's technically what it's called. All these different boxes are different atoms. And a metal, which is really, really important, the body contains metals, and our civilizations are actually named according to the metals that we use. There's the Iron Age and the Bronze Age and the Copper Age, and today we're in the Steel Age. So metals play a major, major role in how our culture has been shaped, in how our bodies are formed. And a metal is nothing more than a substance that's made up of the same atoms. So you got zinc and copper and nickel and cobalt, and these all form metals. And a metal is just something that's a bunch of the same atoms all stuck together. And when something's homogeneous like that, it has really cool qualities. It conducts electricity really well. And it has a certain texture that can be used. It's either very, very malleable. Sometimes they're hard. But one way or another, you can use the texture. These things are called metals. And most of the periodic table is actually metals. Most of the things that we call atoms form metals. There's probably about 15 of them or 16 of them that don't. The gases, for example, helium doesn't form a metal, hydrogen doesn't form a metal. But generally speaking, when we talk about the periodic table, we're talking about a metal. Now, sometimes these atoms can be stuck together in different combinations with different letters, so to speak. Instead of all copper, it'll be copper and oxygen, for example, or copper and oxygen and silica. We call those minerals. Those are minerals. A metal is a type of mineral, but generally speaking, a mineral is a bunch of atoms stuck together in this random kind of way. A rock cannot conduct electricity like copper, like something that's a copper wire, because a copper wire is all copper. A rock is not going to conduct electricity, and this makes them much more difficult to use. These are the kinds of supplements most of us are taking. Rock supplements, non-electrically active supplements. See, in nature is so cool. Plants can actually take these rocks and integrate them into crystalline structures, into structures that have a form, a specific form. We'll talk about this in a little bit. I don't want to steal my own thunder here, but when something's in a specific form, it's really, really, really powerful in biology. The body is made up of lots of these crystals, lots of things in distinct patterns. Atoms that are put together in a distinct pattern rather than randomly become very important. That is a fundamental fact of health and nutrition. Atoms that are put together in a regular pattern are extremely important in biology. Sometimes these regular patterns will form little boxes. This is what a crystal is. A crystal is a bunch of atoms that, from a very, very tiny point of view, when I say submicroscopic, I'm talking about billions and trillions of times smaller than we can see with a microscope. So it means like another world, essentially, another dimension that you enter when you enter the atomic world, the atomic dimension. You got to think totally differently. But if you could, and you got to use your imagination here, zoom down to the atomic world, and if you look into biological tissues and organs and structures, and lots of structures in nature, lots and lots of biological structures, you will see atoms that are organized in a specific way, so they form little cages. Well, if you could take these rocks and you could somehow associate them with these little cages, guess what would happen? The rocks would become active. The rocks would go from being inorganic to organic. This is what plant-derived minerals are. Plant-derived minerals are rocks that have somehow been made to associate in a crystalline fashion. They're not crystalline themselves, probably, but they've been made to associate with crystalline systems. By what? Microbes and plants. Microbes and plants take rocks and associate them with a crystalline substance to form activated minerals, usable minerals, biological minerals. That's what makes the plant-derived minerals different from rock minerals, and that's why if anybody ever tells you about, oh my God, there's arsenic in your Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Somebody put a email blast out a couple years ago. You're eating poison if you do, or you're drinking poison. There's arsenic in there. Not understanding that biological arsenic, which has been associated with a crystal, is completely different than arsenic that is not associated with a biological crystal. These crystals are so cool. The boxes are really what makes them cool. Those boxes, those crystalline boxes, an atom forms, they call it a lattice, L-A-T-T-I-C-E, or a matrix. These atoms that form the boxes make the crystal super important for conducting electrical energy, number one, and also as a source of information. The body uses the crystalline nature of these atoms to make cells do things. thyroid hormones, steroid hormones, receptors, cell membranes, they're all crystalline. And here's the really important take-home message. When we're sick, we're less crystalline. When we're old, we're less crystalline. Youthfulness and health and wellness and strength in the body are a function of how crystalline we are. We'll talk about that when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side.
Hi,
All right, we're back on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We have lines open, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products, longevity business, health challenges, or perhaps you read something or heard something about an ingredient or formulation, we can help you wade through the sometimes crazy and confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about our True Skin Health products or comment or success story you'd like to share, we're getting a lot of buzz. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in skin or skin health, I do Facebook Live and Instagram Live videos every week or two. Did a couple this week. So you want to go to our Truth Treatments Facebook page. There's actually some fraudulent Truth Treatment pages, so you'll have to find the one that's got me on it. And then I guess you follow it or like it, and then you'll get notified whenever I do one of those, when I do a Facebook Live. And then also if you go to Instagram and do follow us at hashtag Truth Treatments, you'll get notified when we do Instagram posts. Truth Treatment products are all available at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, so we're talking about the crystalline nature of the body, the crystalline nature of biology. Biology is crystalline. Our organs are crystalline. Our glands are crystalline. Our cells are crystalline. Yes, that's the coolest thing about our cells to me, is this crystalline nature. And by the way, the crystals in the body are not like the kind of crystals, or many of the crystals in the body anyway, are not like the kind of crystals you think about that are like hard and solid. They're liquid crystals. This is a whole different kind of crystal. A liquid crystal is a crystal that has even more information and electrical energy, information storage capacity and electrical energy than a solid crystal, and much of the body is liquid crystal. We know liquid crystals because we have them in our homes as parts of our television sets and parts of our calculators and computers. Screens utilize this thing called liquid crystal display, or LCD. LCD is a way of utilizing the crystalline power of certain liquids to release energy to create colors. That's what liquid crystal display is. Liquid crystal releases light and releases light at different frequencies based on how the thing is structured, but it's liquid. That's pretty darn cool right there. And this whole liquid crystalline nature of the body is driven in large part by repeating atoms that we call minerals, or trace minerals, I should say, or trace metals. And this is why all the trace metals are important. Each of the trace metals, even bizarre ones, like we've been talking about, there's a lot of really bizarre ones. Dr. Wallach's been talking about some super bizarre ones called rare earth minerals. You may have heard of that term, rare earth minerals. Rare earth minerals are minerals that exist they're not that rare actually, but they exist at the bottom of the periodic table. We're going to talk about those later because in a couple of days, because they have some really interesting medical and plant properties. Even though we don't know necessarily how a lot of these things are used in the body, we know how they're used in plants, and we know that these really bizarre metals at the bottom of the periodic table are important for making healthy plants. That's why you use your bloomin' minerals. That's why you always want to put trace minerals in your soil. They should be in the soil, but they're in the soil in such small amounts that they rinse out pretty easily, and as it turns out, we all know the story, these trace elements are not in the soil. That's what soil depletion really is about. It's about the depletion of these trace elements. We get plenty of nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, the big ones, even calcium, magnesium, but the really trace ones, those are the hard ones to find. The super trace ones may be involved in the body, or maybe in the body in trace amounts, but they're super, super important. All of these elements came at one time from a star that exploded. That is really the coolest thing about these elements. Yes, they're all different, and yes, they're found in nature and in the body and in the earth in different amounts, but they all basically came from the same place. They came from the center of a star. A supernova explodes somewhere in space, releases its minerals, and that's really what the minerals are: the iron, the aluminum, the carbon, the silicon, the magnesium, and eventually they become squished together and they form what we call a planet, which is made up of rocks. Thank God for those little microbes that can eat the rocks, because that's responsible for life. The microbes eat the rocks and create these crystalline rocks, these crystalline minerals or metals, if you will, colloidal metals, metals that have been attached to a colloid, the colloid being a crystalline protein. Nobody knows how this is done, but it's done by little microbes, and that's what turns the rocks of the earth into things that we can use from a biological point of view. Now, rocks themselves, those are also ordered in certain cage-like structures, like there's certain crystals. Minerals, rocks can be combined typically with oxygen. We call those oxides. You've heard of magnesium oxide. Rocks can be turned with hydroxides, like sodium hydroxide, sulfides, sulfates, carbonates, phosphates. These are all, you've all probably seen all these in health food stores. If you're a geologist, you know good and well about silicates and phosphates. And there's also some really neat rocks that will turn into very, very organized crystals. Call those zeolites, if you've ever heard the term zeolite. Zeolite is a bunch of rocks that form a really cool organized crystal. There are other elements on the periodic table that will form crystals just in and of themselves without any other substances. Just one particular type atom, like gold is a classic example. Silver, mercury, carbon does it in the crystalline structure of carbon. This is really cool. When carbon changes crystalline structure, it goes from a pencil, the stuff that you write with, to a diamond. Just pressure does that. Pressure will turn graphite crystal into diamond crystal. Anyway, the second type of mineral is really the cool mineral, and that's the minerals that are alive. That's the minerals that are nutritional minerals, the biological minerals, or organic minerals. And those are the really cool minerals. Those are the minerals that we really want to talk about. These substances, these crystalline biological mineral substances, are super, super important. For one thing, they suspend in water. Not only do they suspend in water or suspend in liquid, but they can organize the liquid themselves. The liquid will actually structure itself around the minerals, around the colloidal minerals. The interaction between water and biological minerals, or colloidal minerals if you want to call them that, the interaction between the water molecules, and the colloidal mineral molecules is super fascinating. And this interaction creates what's called organized water or structured water. And organized water and structured water is, guess what? Crystalline water. It's water that has taken a crystalline shape. And that gives that kind of water a very interesting biological property. And in fact, this kind of water is just discovered only in the last 20 years or so. We've really discovered crystalline water from a scientific, maybe 30 years. Crystalline water from a scientific and biological perspective. It turns out that this kind of water is also known as EZ water. EZ water, or crystalline water, structured water, is a completely different kind of water than bulk water, which is just water splashing around. You ever wonder how your body can be made 70% up of water, but you're not just splashing around like a puddle? It's because much of that water is structured, organized, conducts electrical energy like a metal. Very super, super fascinating stuff, structured water. You'll see it sometimes sold in stores. I'm not necessarily vouching for that, but we'll continue talking about this very fascinating subject of crystals and crystalline water and crystalline minerals on our next Bright Side episode. We're coming back right after this. Don't go away. Okay, we're back on the Bright Side. Got lines open, 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products or business or health challenges or true skin health products or something you may have heard about or read about, 844-236-6010 is our number, and we'll get your calls momentarily. Got lines open for you, by the way. I want to read a couple stories, and then tomorrow we'll continue talking about this idea of crystals and also magnets. It turns out that there's a very important relationship between the organization of electrons, atoms and electrons, and magnets. And when things are electrical, they're magnetic. When they're crystalline, they tend to be more electrical and magnetic. I think they may always be more electrical and magnetic now that I think about it. Crystals naturally conduct electrical energy. Structured water, this new kind of water, is a crystalline, intelligent, electrical, and magnetic water. Can you imagine magnetic water? And this is actually completely different, a completely different form of water than the kind of water that sloshes around in your bathtub or in a sink. It's not the same water. Our bodies are 2/3 water, but much of that water is organized and structured. Anyway, we'll continue talking about this tomorrow. On the bright side, from the Canadian Journal of Cardiology, cataracts from statins, more signals emerge in analysis. Statin therapy significantly elevates the risk of developing cataracts. Significantly. I'm telling you, you can't take a drug, people, and not expect to have some kind of side effect. A side effect is not a side effect. It's an effect. They make it sound like it's an oopsie. It is not an oopsie. It's not an accident. It's part of how the drug works. You know, we say the word side effect, it's like we have the effect, and then, oh, there's this little things that happen on the side. No. They all happen together because you can't make a drug work specifically on one thing. I got a letter or a Facebook message from a gal who was writing for the Daily Mail, which is a big paper, and they have a big online presence. And she says to me in this Facebook message, she says, I happened to catch your talk at the Toronto Health Expo last year. They videoed it or something. And she says, and I heard you say that all drugs are poisons. I want to have a conversation with you about this misleading statement. She said, I forgot what the other adjective she used. She said misleading and some dishonest or something statement. Because she thinks it's misleading to say a drug is a poison. And I get this all the time. Listen, a drug is a poison by definition because if something is not part of your body, if it's not something your body has evolved to deal with, if it's not something your body makes, if it's something that your body has to detoxify and eliminate, and it doesn't know what the heck the stuff is because it's completely foreign from an evolutionary standpoint, it's a poison. If it's not a constituent of the cell or something the cell can use, it's a poison. The reason they have to give you doses of drugs higher than the amount that you need to actually do something is because the doctors and the drug companies know that your body's going to eliminate the vast majority of that stuff before it gets used. That's why they have to inject, when they're really serious about things, they put it right in the blood. That's why you want to be careful about putting stuff in the blood, like vaccines. Because your body is designed to eliminate anything it doesn't know, recognize, or doesn't understand quickly, because that represents a threat. So what we've done in our infinite human wisdom, being sarcastic here, is we've figured out a way to override these systems in the name of hiding symptoms. Now, I'm a big believer in pain pills because I've had to use them. But aside from pain pills, if you're taking a prescription drug, or maybe aside from an emergency standpoint, if you're taking a prescription drug, do not be surprised when you have a side effect, because that's the nature of the drug. If you're taking a prescription drug, you're going to have a side effect, period. No getting around it. You may not notice it. It may be small because the body's so unbelievably efficient and because we tune things out, but they're going to be there. All right, so I'm not surprised about cataracts and statins. By the way, statins are well known for increasing diabetic symptoms, which is one of the ultimate ironies of statin therapy. Oh, here's another one. JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association Internal Medicine. Should everyone take metformin? No, everyone should not take metformin, but apparently they give metformin to people who have not been taking care of themselves, and they live longer because metformin helps you make more insulin. It forces you to make more insulin. It doesn't help you. It forces you. It compels you to make more insulin. So, yes, well, if you're sick and you're not making, you're insulin resistant, or your insulin system is messed up because you've been abusing your body, maybe metformin might help you for a little bit. But that doesn't say that you're not going to have toxicity and side effects, because you will, because that's the nature of drugs. You should know that when you go into it. If you're taking a drug, don't be surprised when you have a side effect. And ironically, don't be surprised when you experience other health challenges after you start the drug. That happens quite frequently. People start drugs and they experience other health challenges. One of the reasons is because drugs require the use of detoxification nutrients. And as we've talked about, and we will continue talking about, chief among these detoxification nutrients are the trace elements, which we don't get enough of in the first place. And then the little bit that you have, you're expending, detoxifying your drug. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number, and we do have lines open. And there's my friend, Dr. Taylor Mitchell. Hey, Dr. Mitchell.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to hear from you this morning.
Yeah, likewise.
What's going on?
So, the doctor I'm working with, Dr. Serena, what you would call pinch nerve cervical radiculopathy.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out, Dr. Mitchell. You're cutting out. Say that again.
Okay, so the Dr. Serena, doctor I'm working with, she has a pinch nerve cervical radiculopathy.
Well, it sounds, I can't really hear what you're saying because you're cutting out, but I heard a pinched nerve. Is that right?
That's so unfortunate. You what?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, but you said a pinched nerve. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so where the pinched nerve doesn't really matter, first of all. Fact is that she's got a pinched nerve. In terms of how you treat it, it doesn't matter, I should say. And so the most important thing when you have a pinched nerve is you want to get some body work done. Do you know anything about Rolfing?
No.
Okay, ROLFING. You should get Rolfed, and you should tell your patients to get Rolfed because it's an amazing body work. And a lot of times when the body's discs and cartilage and connective tissue move around, which happens with aging, as it gets looser, as can occur with aging, or sometimes trauma or injury or long-term structural changes in the body, like how you walk, for example, or how you hold yourself. If you've had a wound somewhere, like if you have something on the bottom of your foot, you may end up walking funny, or you have a pain somewhere in your hip, you may end up walking funny. All of those things can compound to put pressure on nerve roots. The roots and the connective tissue are enmeshed in each other. I should say the nerves is enmeshed in the connective tissue. So when the connective tissue changes, it can put pressure on a nerve root. You will call that a pinched nerve. And that can cause pain. It can cause numbness. It can cause cramping depending on where it is. So you definitely want to have some body work done first and foremost. But secondly, you also want to make sure that you're using connective tissue building substances and anti-inflammatory building substances in terms of nutrients. And I'll tell you a few of those if you just hang on. Dr. Mitchell, okay. And we'll finish up when we come back. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back after this. On the bright side, 844-236-6010 is our number, and we do have lines open for you. We're talking to Dr. Mitchell. Taylor?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me better?
A little bit better. We were just cutting out, but I did hear you say pinched nerve. You said in the back or the spine, right?
Yeah. Cervical radiculopathy.
Well, the point is it's in the spine, and more than likely it's caused by a disc, a herniated disc, I would say. It could be really caused by any kind of pressure that's put on the nerve, but you got the nerves that run through, I'm sure you know this, the nerves run through the spine, and if the disc herniates, it can push into the nerve and cause pressure on the nerve, pinch the nerve, or compress the nerve, and that can be very, very painful. Numbness, burning, weakness, there's all kinds of stuff that can happen. It's not pleasant. I would say a couple of things. First of all, body work is always the first thing. How old is this person? About?
I think she's like 49.
Okay, so it's not unusual. Herniations start to occur. It could have to do with how she was walking from a past injury. It could have to do with just deterioration of the connective tissue. So first of all, for body work. That's the first thing that I would think of. Then you want to start building up the connective tissue, because usually it's caused by some kind of weakness. In the case of the spine, the disc or something starts to get weak and starts to bulge or herniate. So starting to build the connective tissue is real important. And good news is when you build the connective tissue in the spine with supplements and diet, you'll build it everywhere. So that will help her heart. It'll help her circulatory. The things I'm going to tell you here will help her heart, help her circulatory system, and help her skin, keep her skin youthful looking and keep it from wrinkling, and also preventing photo damage. So vitamin E is probably the most important of the anti-inflammatory vitamins, along with vitamin C. Vitamin C also is important for building connective tissue, so I'd be doing 400 IUs of mixed tocopherols and then maybe a gram or two of vitamin C. Essential fatty acids are literally the molecules of inflammation and anti-inflammation. There's probably inflammation involved in this whole process, so making sure she's using her ultimate EFAs. I'd be erring on the side of generosity with the ultimate EFAs, maybe 9 to 12 of them a day. And then also, of course, the entire Healthy Star Pack, the glucogel caps, magnesium, the Osteomag, MSM sulfur can be really helpful. Sulfur is another one of those nutrients that it seems like we don't have to think about too much, but as it turns out, because of soil depletion, many of us are deficient in sulfur. Sulfur deficiency is a real thing. You cannot make connective tissue without sulfur. Sulfur is a key element of collagen. So making sure she's doing a gram or two of MSM a day, the glucogel caps, and not just the glucogel caps, but also, in addition to the glucogel caps, I'd be taking extra gelatin. The glucogel caps, so named because they've got glucosamine and gelatin in them, are very helpful as a building block, as a trigger for building connective tissue. But you can take extra gelatin too. Look for organic gelatin, and that's been used for eons by women who want it for skin, hair, and nails, and it really is very helpful. What were you going to say?
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more things, and then we'll get some more calls here. High hyaluronic acid. I take, personally, an extra 300, 400 milligrams a day. It's a little pricey, but well worth it. And then for food, eggs. Eggs are like a power food for connective tissue building.
She's vegan.
Oh, she's a vegan. Well, that might have something to do with it. Mushrooms. She should be doing lots of mushrooms, mushroom soup. Mushrooms are like a cross between plant and animal. So for vegans and vegetarians, they can get a lot of nutrients from mushrooms that they can't get from other things. Hopefully she can eat mushrooms, aloe vera, liquid aloe vera, or noni. And, of course, the entire Healthy Start Pack is probably a good idea as well. All right, I hope I helped you there, Dr. Mitchell.
You did. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Talk to you soon, I hope.
Have a good day.
Okay, bye. All right, let's go to another friend of the show here, Carl the Truth Raider. What's up, Carl?
Hello, Ben. How are you today?
I got you some more time here today. I always cut you off at the end. So what's going on?
It's a very taboo subject that I want to talk to you about.
Is this the blood thing? The blood stuff you were talking about?
It's a company that calls their plan or their program called Ambrosia.
Okay.
Ambrosia.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah. It makes it the appearance of that it is.
What exactly is it?
What they're doing is they're selling youth and repair for certain folks that are having difficulty with their immune systems or their systems with their blood. And they've slowed down the whole process of the system, and people have slowed down, and they're having a health crisis, chronic illness, or something like that.
They give them young blood. They give them young blood.
Pump in the plasma and the parts of the young blood in these sort of like these medical, drip pouches.
Okay.
And they have them either go there or they have it delivered to them. But they inject blood into them, and that's supposed to be the fountain of youth. Now, that's a taboo thing, that it's strictly against God's law to do something like that, to tamper with the blood, because blood is life. And we're supposed to only take care of our own temples, and our blood is our blood uniquely, and we're not supposed to do that. So it's an abomination before God to do that.
What about, so you don't believe in vampirism? That's actually what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like, is vampirism. Except instead of biting the blood or biting somebody and sucking the blood, you get it injected in you. So I haven't heard of this, but I can see this. It kind of makes sense. I mean, obviously the life is in the blood, so you put life into the, young life into old life. But what are you going to do when the blood changes all the time, right? You can't have a constant infusion. Unless they're doing a constant infusion. The blood changes all the time based on your nutritional status, your toxicity status, spiritual, mental, and emotional factors. So, I don't know. I mean, if you're desperate, I suppose.
They're looking for something in the plasma, probably contained within the body of the blood product itself, perhaps the plasma, the high count of T cells that might be in there.
Any of that. There might be things in there that we don't even know. There might be elements that we don't even know that are in the blood. No, I don't. I don't think that's a very good idea, personally. Have you seen any of the results or anything?
They've been talking about that it's more is on either slowing age down, improving the overall general health of the body, and in some cases it seems like it's slightly reversing age. Or the evidence or signs of age.
It sounds to me like a drug. It sounds almost like a new drug. Is it FDA approved, this thing? Is it? I mean, how do they do it?
That's what I've got to research into more to finding out. But there are five locations throughout the United States. One's in San Francisco. The other, I think, in Tampa. There's one in Houston, Texas, and one's in, I believe, either in Nebraska or Kansas or someplace like that.
And it's one company that's doing it, or is it a lot of companies?
There's some guy named Karmazin, his last name is.
So it's one guy that's doing, one company that's doing it.
Yeah, well, it was something. I'm not sure if the man spoke at a TED conference or something presenting this, or a medical conference.
All right, I'm going to do some research on it.
Yeah, but my friend called me last night. A little bit of good news, and he was in better spirits. He says he's going to discontinue the radiation isotope therapy. He's going to discontinue doing that.
What does he have?
I might offer this. They diagnosed him as having bone cancer.
Oh my goodness! And how far along?
They keep telling us stage 4, but that I don't know if he's kidding with us just to draw sympathy, just to test us out to see how much of good friends and how much we care about him.
How does he look? Stage 4 bone cancer, you wouldn't be looking very good.
No, but he's still able to function. He's lost a bit of weight. That might be as a result of taking this radiation isotope type therapy treatments. I'm not sure what happens to the body in comparison to taking, say, like the chemotherapy, where that definitely ravages the body. But I don't know. I don't know, but I think he's kind of putting us on a little bit. He's not as bad as he's saying he is.
Right.
But I'm going to offer this idea for him to look into this.
You're talking about the ambrosia thing?
That might be an option. If it's critical, if it's a life-threatening thing, condition, then that might be.
I would agree. I mean, if I was at the very end stages when nothing else worked, but here's the thing. Like I say, if you have some kind of issue of toxicity, it's not going away. Cancer is a toxicity issue. It's a stress. It's not just toxicity. It's a stress issue. It's toxicity, deficiency, starvation, suffocation, and toxification. That's what cancer is. Starvation, suffocation, and toxification. So if he changes his blood, he may notice some benefits, but if he's still starving, if he's still toxic, and if he's still hypoxic or low blood oxygen, it's coming back. And that's the problem with all of these symptomatic treatments, including cancer. That's why cancers remit. That's why nobody will tell you you're cured of cancer. Truth Raider, I got to go. The body is, thanks for your call, appreciate it. The body is a healing system, but you got to make sure, number 1, you're giving it the raw materials it needs to do its work. Number 2, you're getting enough oxygen. Number 3, you're keeping toxicity out of the system. But the body does the work, folks. The body is an amazing, amazing healing and regenerating biological system that we all live in and as. All right, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.